everybody I don't. I tell everybody I don't do drugs. I'm not sure after today I believe that, but I don't. I feel like
Well,
I just did 10 lines.
it's actually you're the culmination of my day today after just absolutely going through chaos. So it's really great to now to get to breathe and to sit with you and to talk
Right on. I'm
talk comics.
excited. Thank you for talking to me.
Oh, thank you for talking with me. I don't think
Woo!
we've ever been able to chat. So I've had other friends, Chase over at the Comic Source and many others. We're like,
Yeah,
yeah, I've talked to Liefeld a couple times, and I
it's
was
our
just like,
time. It's our time.
very good. And we get to talk Youngblood, which is
Young blood.
great.
Wait, I. How is it that I have copies? Wait, it exists. It's real. It's real, people. I have them. They're in my hands.
Yep, there it is. So, first of all, congratulations, because I know this is kind of a really big moment that's
It
going to
is a big
happen.
moment.
Tell us a little bit about what's happening and with you coming back to Youngblood.
So Youngblood, I have not written or drawn a Youngblood comic since 2009. It has Barack Obama on the cover, which gives you an immediate time and place and tells you just how long ago that was. Okay. And for about 5 years, Youngblood had been licensed elsewhere. So I didn't even have access to it because part of the beauty of Image Comics is that we owned our own creations, which also meant that we could take on partnerships and sell pieces of that. And part of that was that Youngblood was not, I was not accessible to it. It wasn't a contentious arrangement. It was just an arrangement that there was a period where I'm like, well, maybe I don't ever interact with these characters again. So look, man, I'm not a young guy. 57 years old, love comic books. And it was this time last year that the gentleman who I had worked with for 30 years had talked to Image Comics and had talked to me and said, "Hey, how about what if we got together and cut a deal and did Youngblood?" I said, "Let's do it." And we, it's we were young men those many years back, and now we're older men. And older men, I think, have more fun. The agendas and gripes of the past are all way, 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 way in the past. And so we were excited that we could pull this off together. And I knew that my last Deadpool project would be my last project with Marvel. And before that was even contentious, I just go, I can't keep, even though I try to strictly only work on projects that I have equity in, which means I get a piece of this. If you were to write a Deadpool comic over the last 33 years, I would get paid for that comic, or Cable, or X Force, and the toys and the merchandise. But with the only time I broke that was when little 7-year-old Robbie Liefeld said, just do the G.I. Joe comic, do Snake Eyes. And I'm so glad I did. And I got that out of my system. But I have no desire to do anyone else's characters but my own. And so there are, what I found out is that there are no other characters that I've created that people like more than Youngblood. And this is the shocker. When people go, did Youngblood outsell Deadpool? I'm like, Deadpool never outsold Youngblood, like head to head, peak to peak. I mean, the original Youngblood comic launched Image Comics 33 years ago, April 16th, 1992. So when I knew, I came out of the fog of doing my last Marvel work, and I said, when should I put this Youngblood book out? Should it be summer or fall? Because I'd already missed all the windows to make it a spring release. And then the other half of me woke up and said, Rob, you do direct to consumer comics all the time. Just make this direct to consumer, skip the line, bypass traditional publishing. And here we are, as I showed you, boom, boom, boom. Okay. I flew to the printer to have these come off the press into my hands last week. I was like, I'm going and grabbing those. My family was like, "Why are you never fly to the printer?" I'm like, "I am now." It's that big of a deal, and especially having contacted Ryan Leibowitz, his dad Bill Leibowitz founded Golden Apple, and they hosted me 33 years ago, and it was a giant, really super fun, successful day, and it Youngblood is the first Image comic, period, full stop, and it was alone for 3 months because nobody else believed. Let me tell you, what was the best weapon in signing up people to Image Comics was, wait, that did 1 million copies and you're getting $1 a book? That's correct. What? That got people off their asses fast. I'm signing up. I'm signing up. I'm signing up. And so then we were off to the races. But Youngblood sat there alone because there was nothing else solicited. And then Todd had decided he'd come on board, and Spawn followed that summer, and Image Comics took off. But by the time, just staying in the past for a minute, by the time that Chicago Comic Con, which is not really, it's now kind of morphed into, it's changed hands, and it kind of sort of is C2E2 ish. But back in the day, the biggest Comic Con, the second biggest Comic Con in North America was Chicago. It was after San Diego, and they came to us and they said, "We want to host you guys." And some of the guys were like, "But I'm not going to have any books out. I'm not going to have any books out." And literally, only Todd and I, we both had a couple of Youngbloods and a couple of Spawns out. Dragon hadn't launched, Shadowhawk hadn't launched, Cyberforce hadn't launched, but it was a great promotional opportunity for them to promote posters and do preview issues. But that year, that period of time, the characters are special. But since announcing that I was doing this and bringing this back out and hitting that 33-year anniversary, I cannot tell you how many people have told me, like, the wave of nostalgia that they have for this. I didn't really anticipate it. I was just like, I got to make this. The uncertainty of when I could release this book through traditional means, just, I'm so glad that I was able to bypass it and have these books. We're going to have them on live streaming. They're on my website. I'll be there in person, Golden Apple. So, I mean, when you ask me, it's special on so many levels. And there are people flying. I've got like at least a dozen people who have bought a plane ticket to fly out because this is a big deal. Some people were there 33 years ago. They're going to be there again. So now we're all old dudes, right? Which is fun. But yeah, it's this is a tremendous, uh, just honor, excitement. Like I said, there's a world that I never reunite with these characters again. So every panel was that much more important. Every page. So it's been nothing. It's been a total blast.
What's interesting to me is that you're coming off of a very similar situation. Well, I'm not, but yes and no. Working with the larger publisher,
Yeah.
and then going over when Image launched, it was creator
Yes.
owned, and now you're going to self-publishing and direct to consumers,
Right.
which you get a lot more control. Any reflection on that, on how, like, life is kind of crazy like that, where
Well,
when you launched it and versus now?
so Image Comics will still carry this book, but it will be later in the year. I will offer a version of this, but not these covers. And here's the crazy part. I do a lot of layouts, and there are different versions of pages in here that I didn't go through, but they were good. When this goes to market, that there will be a different version of this book by a few pages and definitely covers. But in the immediacy, I do believe what I'm doing represents the next challenge. I've talked to Image Comics about direct to consumer, and here's why it's so important. These windows that we operate under now, this, I want to do it. Okay, let's do it. So that's 5 months ago. Let's put it in the catalog. That's 4 months ago. Let's get the orders. That's 2 months ago. Then after the orders are come out, 2 months later, it reaches you. We move a lot faster as society now.
Mhm.
And I just believe that there is an immediacy. I have been part of this direct to consumer. When they your listeners, viewers wonder. So Last Blood is a book that I decided to do last year. I own 100% a bunch of my Extreme catalog. Youngblood is a shared, situation. Characters from Brigade, from Bloodstrike, Prophet, all these other characters are in this Last Blood because I said, man, I should do a story about the end of these characters before I die myself so that somebody else doesn't do it. Okay. Well, I didn't show anybody what I was doing. I did it in secret. My kids would be like, "What are you drawing?" And I'm like, "Something you don't know about. You weren't alive. Just leave me alone." And like, because they're like, "I don't understand what you're drawing," and I'm like, "Me neither." And I'm not sure anybody will care. We've gone through like 10 printings on both of these books because every edition that we do sells out. So that gave me a notion of how you can literally create a market for this stuff. And the thing that connects Last Blood and Youngblood is I will not show you a single page from this comic book. Um, the 32 pages that I drew now, your standard comic book, just so you know, and Marvel and DC, they will tell you you have to do 20. They've budgeted for 20 pages. When I grew up, it was 22. You've lost 2 pages from the major companies. You're paying an arm and a leg for 20 pages. Um, I did 32 pages of brand new story and art. But behind me here are some of the greats, some of the classics. X-Men, and this is my spinner rack, Marvel Team Up, Hulk, Daredevil. Dude, when I was a kid, I walked in and I didn't know that the next thing I'd be looking at. I walked into the drugstore and I turned, I'm waiting to see what came out. I didn't count weeks. It just felt like it had been a month. I didn't know that Wolverine was an old guy and all the X-Men were dead on a wall. You're like, what is happening here? The element of surprise, of shock. I didn't know they were killing Elektra. I've talked about this on my podcast. I went into the drugstore, got Elektra, got Daredevil 181, was in the back of the car. My mom was driving to the mall. I started crying. I couldn't believe my favorite character. They didn't just kill her, they gutted her. I mean, they brutally murdered her. And I was like, no one saw that coming. No one my age who was following Daredevil, Frank Miller, saw that coming. We have lost the element of surprise. Okay. Nowadays, it's I'm going to give you my full issue in advance so that you order it. I'm going to show you 20 pages online. Like, we got to do all these tricks to get people. I need to convince you, the store, to give me your attention. So I'm just going to lift my entire dress up, take all my clothes off. I'm going to get butt naked so you can see all the merchandise. No, leave something to the imagination. Okay. And so with Youngblood, and I've had some diehards say, Mr. Liefeld, Rob, please show me a panel. I won't show you one frame of this comic. The world will see it for the first time next week. And when they do, I'm also not stupid. It will be up online within minutes. Okay. But at least I held the line until release day. I did not, the element of surprise is a lost art of comic books. So I'm just trying to use every tool that reflects what I loved growing up,
Hmm.
and trying to the element of surprise, not knowing what you're getting, and getting it into the hands of the people who love it the most. My grocery store clerk never gave a shit what I bought. I don't have to go into. I've talked about this on my podcast too. I first encountered it at Tower Records. That's probably, you're too young to encounter it, but record stores are by there was a period they were just totally wiped out. They're coming out now, back out now, because kids, my children are rediscovering vinyl. But I remember buying a Billy Idol album or a Tears for Fears, and the clerk, who was cooler than me, right? Because his hair was way spikier and he had earrings coming out of his every pair. He'd be like, huh, buying this, huh? And I go, just ring me up, asshole. Like, just ring me up. You know what I know? I know the guy that owns Tower Records wants you to just ring me up. I don't want your opinion. I don't have to deal with some clerk who wants to, only, and trust me, in the late 90s, man, did I encounter this. Everybody started dressing like Neo, okay? All the clerks decided they had long leather dusters in August in 110-degree weather with their cool, you buying this? Shut the fuck up and ring me up, okay? Like, I don't, you know what? When I was a kid, the clerk at the grocery store, at 7-Eleven, at the liquor mart, just rang me up. Like, kids buying comics, cool, okay? Um, I'm getting my comics. This has allowed me to just put them in the hands of the people who love them the most. And that's, I think, a tremendous opportunity afforded to me, and it is a next level of interaction, because here's the ugly truth that nobody wants to talk about. The consumer is the customer, the fan. I'm a fan. Without them, we have nothing. You have no store, you have no publishing division, you have no nothing. Unless the consumer shows up, you're done. You have nothing. And so I am out to please the consumer first and foremost. And I've been around the block. Been around the block. Okay, 40 years in this business. I speak fluent comic book. I understand what the base is looking for. So I'm just going directly to them, and it is a liberation. It is very liberating. And I've had stores say, Liefeld, you doing this? I'm not ordering your book. Okay, you were ordering two of it anyway. So I will compensate for those two. I will compensate for those two issues. Um, it's incredibly, it's powered the creator, man. This is a creator driven kind of opportunity here. And I am 100% on board, and I've never felt more alive at 57. Okay. I'm more engaged now than I was in my 30s or my 40s because I am so thrilled to be doing comics and that they're coming out as good as this. I want to open it. I want to show it to you. I'm not. Okay. But it's good. I will put this against the best book on the market. I will put Youngblood #1 up against anything in the marketplace today, full stop. It is going to give people a tremendous, a great fun ride. And I think people will not resist the big smile and the big fun that they get from this book. This book is 1000% fun, and it is my love letter to all those comics behind me that, buddy, I don't find a whole lot of this anymore. I talk about it on my podcast. I just want the hits. Give me a hit, give me a hit. And I mean like dopamine. I need a hit. I don't want an issue of Daredevil where he argues the law for 20 pages. I want him on the rooftop kicking ninjas' asses, okay? I don't want you to show me what a great orator you are and how, what a great playwright you are. Go write a fucking play. Leave Daredevil alone, okay? I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna take a breath.
I'm excited. I'm very excited because I mean, if you're that excited about your book,
Yeah.
as a fan of comics, it's always great to read those stories because if your heart and soul is poured into it as a reader, you're going to be able to tell. How long have you had this story in you, the one that we're going to be reading?
So here's the crazy thing. I did two issues simultaneously, and about halfway through both picked that this one would be the launch one, and the other one will just be a standalone special. But I had had both stories for quite some time, anticipating when I would come back. If you have never encountered Youngblood before, and the great thing about having a 40-year career is every 10 years you get to kind of reintroduce yourself. There's always a new base. Maybe they bought your look. I had a frank conversation with a retailer who said, Rob, I'm going to be honest. I really enjoyed Deadpool Team Up, but it didn't sell very well in my store. And I said, can you tell me why? He goes, so let me finish. Nothing Deadpool sells very well in my store. My fans aren't that into the Deadpool line of comic books. He said, but I sold a ton of your Snake Eyes. He goes, your G.I. Joe book, well, like that's where you got a bunch of new eyeballs and people who are like, I've never encountered this guy, but man, Snake Eyes has never been better. And I can tell you that IDW can tell you, I mean, let me tell you how good Snake Eyes did. This is my best. Hasbro made a dead game figure.
Yeah,
And
okay.
they hit me with an element of surprise. They didn't tell me they were making this. They shipped this to me and said this comes out next week. And I'm like, what? The box says Snake Eyes Dead Game. Okay. But like, that intel, I appreciated that retailer being so up in front with me. And he's like, no, I couldn't keep your Snake Eyes in stock. But the thing is, you never know when you're going to pick up new readers, new eyeballs, and be
Mhm.
able to reintroduce yourself. And like I said, my plan is to end up, uh, you know, just doing all my own characters. My catalog is vast. And while we've done editions of Prophet and certainly Youngblood was published from 2009 to 2017, I wasn't writing and drawing those stories anymore. So I had this story, and for new readers, you will know who Youngblood is by page 3. You will understand who they are. Each character gets their own introduction. It is treated like a true first issue. If you have the older fans will be thrilled. They're back in action. They'll, you know, by its notion, Youngblood is a government sanctioned, super squadron, and they engage in missions and battle, threats to humanity. So that's what they're doing here. But there are at least 3 cliffhangers and a giant spoiler on the last page that I can't show anybody. So, and there's actually a couple spoilers before that. I mean, it was fun. I decided, well, I'm gonna put these characters through their paces. Like one of these characters gets an ass whooping that I've never given any of my characters. It's bad, and I'm like, I think people will be shocked by this. Uh, but look, it's so much fun. And so here's the deal: in about 8 issues, it will be the 100th issue of Youngblood. And at that point, the numbering is going to flip to reflect it. So
Oh.
I didn't feel like launching a Youngblood number 92. But when we get to 100, it'll flip the legacy numbering. And Eric Stevenson, the image partner and the publisher of Image Comics, he had been counting. He said, "Rob, you're up to this number, just so you know." Uh, he's been a great ally. He was my editor in chief at Extreme Studios. I just have had the best time, you know, just planning all of this with him. And he understood. I said, "Hey, Eric, I can't make the traditional window if I go through the catalog system." And so he totally understand. And look, we're going to put a mass market version of this out, but this is like kind of flipping the whole. I compare it to movies. My wife and I mean, 50 movies in the last 15 years. We will drive to the special theater showing the limited release. Uh,
Hmm.
Movies like Boogie Nights, which is now over 30 years, but There Will Be Blood. Any Paul Thomas Anderson movie is given on a limited, they'll do a theater in New York, a theater in Los Angeles. Okay. La La Land, when it was released, was only in LA for the first 2 weeks. We drove up there. We saw it. It's called a platform release. Then it opens wide. But if you love that artist, you love those talents, there's almost nothing you won't do in regards to seeing kind of limited platform releases. So Youngblood's rollout is like a limited platform release, and we will go wider as the year expands. And I really genuinely believe that this has been just nothing but great for Youngblood. It's got people talking, and it was all kind of accidental because I'm like, hey, I think I can make that April 16th date, but I can't do it traditionally. So I did it this way, and this is what we're doing.
It's exciting. What does it mean to you to have the trust of fans and readers for you to be able to take this leap on your own and be able to go direct to customers and then saying, yeah, we'll be there. We'll, like you said, we'll fly out there if need be.
You know what? It's you earn it. I do this with musicians. Whether it's look, we didn't know that we were seeing the last time Fleetwood Mac was together, and I realized I just dated myself. But as a kid in the 70s, Fleetwood Mac, the Rumors album, was a big deal. And they reunited all of the original band at Dodger Stadium in the summer of 2017. They did one more show together after that, and then they disbanded. And now these people are dead. Okay. And like, look, over time you earn the devotion of seeking out a band and going to see them, or an actor and buying something video on demand. I'll do it. There's a kick-ass movie that came out. It was only video on demand. It starred Nicholas Hoult, and it was set in the 80s, and it was about like a cult. It just came out but I'm like, boom, I paid the extra price. I saw it. It's I forget the other guys the guy who he played Cyclops in like the last version of Cyclops. He was and Jude Law. Jude Law plays an FBI guy. Nicholas Hoult is like it's all based on a true story, but it was only video on demand. I paid the $29.99. I watched it. I love Jude Law. I thought the director is. I've seen some of his other work. You as an artist have to earn your standing. And
Mhm.
40 years, all these comics, and let me be honest, social media is a huge component in connecting us. Uh, I didn't really understand how I would connect with people through the podcast as I have, but it's become one of my most powerful connections. But whether it's X or Instagram or Facebook, I'm on all of them because I love talking to people. I love talking comics. And so I have built up a rapport. And as I've said, the people coming to the to the party who've already got stuff that I've only offered on my website, they know the quality I'm bringing. You're not getting this cover stock anywhere else. Currently, Marvel comics are printed on toilet paper, like literally toilet paper quality. It tears. Your stores say that the comics are compromised, they're bent, they're creased, and for those people who want them in nice condition, it's like going back to Rob Liefeld. These books were in shit condition. People say, "Why do you hold those books on your spinner rack?" I'm like, "So you never encountered a spinner rack in 1976? Comics were beat to hell. Somebody already looked through them and put
Yeah.
them back. They were bent, they're ripped." But I'm like, okay, I guess this X-Men's the best quality, and it's torn and it's missing a staple, but I'm walking up and buying it. Um, this is glossy cardstock. Uh, and, whoa,
Oh,
that
we
was
almost
scary.
opened it there.
Oh, and really high end paper. I just like the original, just like when we originally launched Image. Marvel and DC back in 1992, they're like, oh, that computer color, that's too expensive. Not for me. The quality matters for me. I'll
Mhm.
take the hit. I'll I'll absorb the cost. I'm not a corporation. I don't have a bean counter going, you have to bring the price of those down. No, I went all in. To quote John Hammond from Jurassic Park, spared no expense. I spared no expense. Okay. I'm bringing this to you guys. It is exciting. Like I said, I flew to the printer, man. There is no part of this that I did not participate in, and it's an absolute thrill to be able to deliver it. And look, I'm not saying this is for everybody. This fit a certain window for me, and it's caused its own amount of controversy because I'm not being traditional. But I think that now is the time to swing for the fences. I mean, everything is up for grabs. And look, publishing labels, comic stores, everyone's going through a transition. Fans are ingesting. Look, I sat with Marvel Comics. I sat with two of their highest executives 2 years ago, and they said, we're having to absorb that people are getting comics in a different way that they used to. They're getting them delivered to their door via Amazon or a mail order system. Some people don't even go into a comic store. I had to start ordering all my own hardcovers and trade. One of my local stores said, we don't carry those anymore. If you want those, go to Amazon. They just told me it's too expensive for us. We don't know what everybody wants. We've decided we're just going to not carry those. You can go through Amazon. And they didn't say it in a dick move. It was just understand our position here.
Hmm.
So when I see something coming out now, I know I'm ordering it from Amazon. I don't have a store in my area that carries the omnibuses, the hardcovers, the art books. So we are rapidly changing, and if we don't have those conversations, we're lying to ourselves. That the industry is changing, just like film. I followed CinemaCon last week, and the exhibitors are yelling at the studios, and the studios are yelling at the exhibitors. Give us a longer window. Make your theaters better. Give us a longer window. Make your theater like it's this. Everyone is in kind of a bit of chaos right now because not everything is a blockbuster. And what do
Hmm.
you do? I hear store owners telling me the same thing. There's been four weeks without a hit in my store. No, nobody's coming. And then the 1 week that a book that people were interested in, like Hush 2, Marvel put out every possible hit. They released like six of their biggest books on the same week, and stores are like, "Why didn't they spread those out? I could have used those 2 weeks ago.
Hmm.
Use them 2 weeks from now." It's the same thing with theaters. Minecraft probably saved a bunch of theaters. Like, that movie wasn't made for me, but God bless it, it's making a shit ton of money, which means kids are getting candy and sodas, and I'm all for all of our clubhouses staying open, but we as artists have to look out for ourselves too. And so I think, you know, they're like I have one of the biggest comic book stores I've been told they are a top three account in the distribution world, and they want to do a deal with me direct for Youngblood. I'm going to do that deal, and I'll announce it when I do it. But these are the kind of things that are open because I earned it.
Right.
Go back to the answer. I earned it. I've been delivering you. I've done 120 pages, roughly six comic books a month for the last decade, solid, whatever it was. Deadpool Batter Blood, Deadpool Bad Blood, Deadpool Team Up, X Force, Major X, Snake Eyes. I have shown my reliability, and people
Hmm.
like my work, because if they didn't, I wouldn't get hired. That's my favorite thing. And let me now address some of the haters because I love doing this. How does this guy get work? I don't know. How do I? Because I'm booked nonstop. Okay. Like, it's so funny. Like, yeah, how do I? Jeez. I wonder how that works. I guess I produce a product and that product disappears. I guess they want more. I actually truly love a lot of the negative attention that I receive because it gets me going. If anything gets me a little higher every day, it's when somebody kind of tries to land a punch on me. I'm like, oh, that's good. That was a total miss. You didn't land it, but I admire that you took that swing, and I'm going to work harder for you tomorrow as a result. So yeah, I'm a different cat, man. I'm a different cat.
Well, we appreciate that. Rob, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. It means a lot to me because you have such insight on the industry. And I mean, for all the years you've been doing it. And I do follow you on social media, and I do appreciate your takes because you're very honest and you're not really afraid of anyone. So I,
Why would I? Why
yeah,
would I be?
yeah, 100%. So congratulations on
Hey,
bringing back Youngblood. I'm excited.
you got a really nice setup. I'm really glad we connected. I'm just honored to be on your show. So thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate the time when I was told, "Can't will you do this interview?" 100%, I will do this
Dude,
interview.
I'm so glad. I am so excited. Thank you. Like literally, this means a lot to me. And my man, Mr. Manny, you let me know when this is up, and I'll blast it for you.
100% will do. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Hey, have a great weekend, dude.
Yeah, you too.
Okay,
And
take care.
good luck next week.
Thank you. I need it. Thanks.